Hello and welcome to One Good Thing interview series. My name is Furkan Karel and I'll be hosting inspirational leaders from different parts of the world to share their authentic stories and wisdom to sprinkle one good thing to our lives. Enjoy! Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We are joined by an amazing speaker and author today, Rob Maisel. And welcome, Rob.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Honored to be chatting with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As part of our interview series, I would like to always ask my guests about to introduce themselves a little bit to us, and as well as what is the one good news and thing that happened to you. If you can give us a little bit about your background, what you do, and also what happened to you this week.
Sure. So thank you for this kind introduction. As you mentioned, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I train as well. I work with folks, I work with organizations and individuals delivering cross-cultural training. And I also work delivering travel coaching services for folks interested in diving deeper into their journeys. And then on the organizational side for folks and organizations looking to learn more about culture and how it makes an impact. So one good thing that happened to me this week was I reconnected with a good friend of mine who I hadn't spoken to in a while. And another good thing, I know you wanted one, but you're going to get two. I explored Brooklyn, which is a borough here in New York City that I don't live in, but I've always been curious about. And I thought, hey, what better a time than to check it out, and found some cool areas, some cool restaurants. Yeah, so that's two good things this week. Woo!
That's fantastic. Wow. I always wanted to visit the Brooklyn part whenever I visit New York, never get a chance to do it. But now this make me feel like I definitely have to do it next time.
There you go.
That's great. That's great. And Rob, how did you end up doing what you do today? Because it's very interesting about designing people's travel journeys and as well as giving them cultural advices. And we are going to come into your book as well, which includes so many personal stories, so many cultural stories as well. So we are very curious. How did you end up doing what you do?
Sure. Great question. I really just followed my intuition throughout life. And that included a lot of non-traditional paths, or taking these long journeys when family and friends were calling me crazy, questioning what I'm doing, think, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So a lot of extended travel personally, during university and afterward. And then as I transitioned into the work world, I took on some gigs like English teaching in Japan, working with, and then transitioning to working with companies to arrange cross-cultural trainings, working with companies on their relocation. So all the work that I was doing seemed to pull in all the international experiences and expertise I had gained, because languages, cultures, travel had always just fascinated me. So just following those interests pulled me into the career that I have today.
Perfect. You touch into a very important point about languages. And visiting a country while you are able to speak the language, it just makes a huge difference, doesn't it? And could you tell us a little bit about that? Because you have been to many different places. And as far as I know, you're able to speak so many languages. So, yeah.
Yeah, Furkan, as you said, it's really important. It's really a wonderful element to add into the travel. If someone's going to a country and they can communicate and they can speak the native language, it just adds a whole nother layer of experience. Like, you can really get deeper into the place and the culture and learn more about the people when you speak when you speak a significant amount of the language. Now, that's not to discourage people who don't. There's always opportunity to learn. And in fact, many folks, depending where you are, but English is a commonly spoken language around the world, and you will find many folks, especially in urban regions, who speak it, but of course, not always. So learning that language, learning the native language really allows you to dive deeper into the experience, from my experience.
Yeah, and I have been always curious about learning new languages, at least to be able to say hello and thank you on the places that I visit. It just make me feel like I'm able to communicate in their level. As you know, in some words, there's no perfect translation into another language. For
Right.
example, enjoy your meal is completely different in Turkish, the way that we say that, and in other languages as well. There's no perfect translation in between, but it just gives that authentic, real message to the person who would like to communicate in that level. It's just make a huge difference for anybody. And so let's talk about your book, Rob. Your book is Transformed Through Travel. When I read the title, yes, this is
There
the
it
book.
is.
Connecting Across Cultures. When I read the title of the book, I said, this is the book I must definitely read, because transforming is a word that catches me. Travel is another one. And connecting cultures, I said, that's a book to read. So how did you come up with the title, first of all? And the second, if you can tell us a little bit about what you shared in the book. I read it, I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to share my reflections as well.
Sure. Well, thank you. I'll be excited to hear your reflections and your thoughts on the book. So how I came up with the title was I really thought to myself a couple of things. Um, what's my main message to my readers? What do I really want them to get out of it? What is someone able to do after reading the book, right? And that's what it is, right? It shows how I've transformed through travel and been able to connect across all these amazing cultures. And if I can do it, so can you, so can the reader. And so that was really what sort of went into the title. Now, wait, there was this, pardon me, I got sidetracked. There was a second part to the question. So what went into the title? And then could you repeat the second part of that question?
Sure. So what is in the book in general? I'm going to share some reflections later on as well.
Sure. So I pulled in basically, I wanted to guide the reader through the experience of following their dreams and going to take their dream trip, and at the same time showing them the value of travel, not just on like a business or a vacation level, but really from a transformational, like a self-development perspective, and all the while pulling in my own personal stories as often as possible to support that message.
Just before we start recording this video, we were talking with Rob that the way that he used the language with the capital letters in different, part of the book, it just made me feel like I was listening to him. It really made me an enjoyable experience, I have to say. And on the other side, seeing different cultures of I have never experienced or visited a country, or looking at the situations from his perspective, made me feel like there are more than one takeaway from this difficult situation or a challenging situation. So I would highly recommend anybody who is either into traveling or into transforming their life or living at their best self. And because after each travel, we are a completely different person, and for the better, for the better version of ourselves. And that's why I really enjoyed the book, and I highly recommend everyone to grab a copy and enjoy reading it at Christmas break or at a weekend. It's really nice to follow the easy read as well, and so many interesting stories. You will be surprised. And Rob, how people can reach out to you and how can they find the book? Where do they find it?
Sure. The book is being sold online at most of the major retailers. You can find it on Amazon, um, Target as well. And to reach out to me, folks can email robert.w.maisel@gmail.com, or they can check out my website, robmaisel.com.
And my final question, Rob, is the travel done for you or will you be doing more travels in the new year?
It's a great question. So when the pandemic hit, I took it as a great opportunity, since I was not able to travel easily, to write this book and share all these experiences. And I had thought for some time, okay, maybe I'm done and just ready to share. And then I'm more recently thinking, I'm not done. I'm just getting started. So I think coming into the new year, I'm definitely thinking more about some fun spots to go to, some impactful spots to go to, right? Not just places where I can enjoy, but places where I can share and learn and continue these amazing journeys and stories to have even more to share with the world.
Perfect. And could you name a few places that you're actually thinking?
Hmm.
If there is any, in the plan?
Morocco, Iceland, Finland, Russia, Ecuador, the Galapagos. Yeah, internationally. And I'd like to head back to the International Balloon Fiesta this year, or next year rather, because that was quite an interesting experience. I'd like to experience more of that. And that's here in the States, in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow, perfect. Sounds like you have a great plan for the
I
next.
have ideas.
And then next book probably coming up as well.
Yeah, certainly can think about that, because the more, more experiences we have, the more we have to share with people in life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Rob, for your time and for this interview. I really enjoyed it. And for our audience as well, if you didn't grab a copy, please go and grab a copy of this book, In Rob's Hands: Transform Through Travel, Connecting Across Cultures. And feel free to connect with both of us. And who knows, maybe Rob will travel to the places that you are living currently. So yeah, let's keep in touch. Thank you so much, Rob, for this lovely interview, and hope to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Furkan, for your time and for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.